Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today we'll be continuing our mod review series, where we've had a rather interesting recommendation, Nanu's Pirates of Sartosa Overhaul. I absolutely love it when you guys recommend mods to me, cause then sometimes a gem like this appears. The Pirates of Sartosa Overhaul is what we needed since vanilla. This completely changes Aranessa's Saltspite Sartosa faction into a faction that actually fits her. You see, Aranessa Saltspite was known to fight alongside random pirates, not so much the undead. Here we get a bunch of living pirates alongside the undead, humans from various nations, Norskins and even dwarfs. Overhaul mods like these are absolutely fantastic, as they bring fresh life to a faction which should already have been fairly unique when compared to its main race. But let's not waste any more time and jump right in. As usual for these mod reviews, I will begin a fresh new campaign in easy mode and easy battles in an effort to show off anything of interest in a much faster rate. Your campaign will start off as normal. You'll start off with control of Sartosa and Aranessa as usual close to Talia. You will however start to notice changes as soon as you click on Aranessa, where most of her units which would normally be undead at the moment have been replaced with various living units. But once you get into the building tab, you'll start to notice bigger differences. You'll notice that your already impressive roster of units has been extended by a vast amount with the inclusion of various different races and factions. If you wanted to, you could field a lore-friendly army for Aranessa and not have any undead units whatsoever, unless you wanted to, of course. But the choice is there, and it's not just for Aranessa, as your settlements have also been included with regards to new buildings, which will allow you to recruit living warriors for your armies. There are a few different buildings added in, each dedicated to various things such as Norskin pirates, standard pirates or dwarf pirates. So depending on how you prefer to field your armies, you have a lot of choices here. With this mod, I'd say in terms of units, the Pirates of Sartosa become as versatile as the Skaven in a sense, where you can specialize different armies for different things. Do you need them to be more resilient and tough? Bring down an army of dwarf pirates. Do you want a well-rounded artillery base? Then go for the standard humans. Or if you want something more skirmishing melee focused, then recruit an army of Norskins. Just a quick note here, obviously the mod is not intended to be completely lore friendly. I just find it a bit strange that she can recruit Norskins, as her lore states that she dislikes them and they dislike her. But either way, mods aren't always meant to be lore friendly as long as it plays well. Aranessa herself has had her skill tree changed drastically. Now she has a massive amount of buffs to her living servants. You might think, yeah, that can be expected, but you would be surprised how many mods I check out to potentially review which forget to implement buffs for any new units added to them. The skills themselves are fairly decent, nothing too overpowered, but enough to be noticeable in later game. For means of convenience, the baseline living servants that you can muster to your armies can also be found in the main building of all your horde characters. This works out fairly well, as you're able to recruit full armies without needing to work onto other buildings too. There are so many buildings that this can become a bit of a nuisance. Your skill tree, whilst looking identical to the vanilla one, has been also drastically changed, where many of the technologies which would buff up your unliving servants now also buff up your living ones. This is great, as I was worried that you were originally going to have to focus on two separate technology trees, which would mean that you'd have to place focus on one over the other. Instead, you have your 4 standard branches, and each of them are beneficial to everything. You will also notice that your famed pirates are no longer undead for Aranessa's faction. Instead, they've been replaced with a multitude of different races to fit Aranessa's faction as a whole. They still remain as hordes though, so don't worry about that. Faction dilemmas have also been updated. When it comes to regards of summoning heroes, characters and so on, it is completely relevant in regards to the faction overhaul. For this specific dilemma, I picked a Sartosan Fleet Master, but all of them as far as I've seen worked very well. Each of them are designed to work with their specific. So for example, the Sartosan Fleet Master is better to use around Sartosan units, the Dwarf Cook is better to use around dwarfs, and so on and so forth. From what I've seen seen in regards to all of them, they're all fairly well balanced in terms of stats, and their skills themselves are fairly well implemented too. It's not like you're getting anything too horrendously overpowered. This mod also introduces generic lords, as you'll obviously want to have some generic living characters taking control of your living armies. As the same with the heroes, fairly well rounded in terms of stats, and its skills are done fairly well too. You do have the benefit of getting a skill known as Friend of the Dead, which will allow some beneficial mixture of both living and unliving servants. But the majority of the red skill tree specific to your living lords is pretty much geared towards living units and living units alone. I had a random event where a new hero was recruited automatically, and you will notice that many heroes, not just this one, will have various weapons listed as mount options. This is so the hero itself has a variety of different weapon options in the game. Yes, it works exactly like that. Each weapon option in the form of a mount will change the character's model to have a new weapon, and the character in question will fight with said new weapon in the style that it's supposed to. CA, please take notes. Other than eventually hunting down Aminar, the Pirates of Sartosa have another, admittedly minor quest, where they must seek the famed pirate Jagor Roth. There aren't that many quests situated about this, but the first one says that you need to fight another faction of the Vampire Coast. Thankfully, early in the campaign, the Dreadfleet was sending a force to attack me. Nothing too impressive as I could auto-resolve, but then we got the next quest, which would take us to a brand new battlefield where we would fight alongside Jagor Roth against a horde of incoming undead. The battle was simple enough, but then again I am playing in easy mode and easy battles, but it was entertaining regardless. Now that is indeed the end of the chain quest, but successfully doing that mission will grant you the ability to actually recruit Jagor Roth as another legendary lord. Jagor Roth can be found in your Legendary Admirals section when recruiting a new character. This is indeed another one of those pseudo-horde characters that are known for the Vampire Coast. Building wise, nothing's really changed. He's still able to recruit undead characters and units and so on, so you're not really lacking there if you prefer more of an undead heavy build. I personally would have removed the option of him being able to recruit the undead units, but then again, nothing stops the player from actively ignoring it should they want a more lore-friendly approach. His stats themselves are fairly well rounded, barring the fact that his missile strength is extremely powerful. But moving on from that, everything else, including his skills, fits his character well. With this character, you would be buffing up your living armies, but also being quite diplomatic with men and high elves, seeing as you want their support against the Dreadfleet and any other unliving enemies. His own unique items are also focused around buffing up your own units and taking away buffs from your enemy, so you can more or less see how his armies would be built. Your generalized roster as the Pirates of Sartosa with this mod is extremely large. In truth, this is how I've always imagined sub-factions to be, where in a general sense they can play out like the main faction race. However, given some extra units, the playstyles could vary so much that you could more or less count a sub-faction to be something on its own entirely. I'm not saying that factions themselves and sub-factions should vary so drastically, but a few extra units, more than just the usual one or two, would be perfect. Now, we're not going to go over all the stats of all the individual units, as if we did, this video would be far too long, but the units themselves are fairly well balanced, and we're going to give them a look visually more than anything else, whilst I offer my final thoughts regarding this mod. This might be one of the top best mods I've seen so far. Not only because it adds so much variety and it's so incredibly well balanced, but being able to switch out heroes' weapon loadouts and then drastically change their playstyle not only just in a visual aspect is absolutely incredible. I don't think I've seen this in any other mod so far, and it's something that I think should actually be implemented in the future, because something like this would add in so many different potential options when in regards to heroes. It's amazing what modders can come up with, and this is something which I believe Creative Assembly does need to know about. I might even make a dedicated video about it and send it to them directly just to show off all the different aspects. The mod itself is extremely playable and offers such a drastic change from the usual Vampire Coast factions, which makes me want to focus as the Pirates of Sartosa above the others. I believe the usual trend for players is playing as Count Noctilus, but imagine a faction like this if it was official. It's more than likely that people would focus around Aranessa Saltspite due to the fact of unit variety, army variety, and so much more. I highly recommend this mod if you're looking for something different for the Vampire Coast, and if you have any recommendations for other mods that I should cover on this channel in an effort to promote them, please let me know in the comments below. As always, you can find a direct link to this mod in the description below. I hope you enjoy this mod because I surely did. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.